Welcome to our Spelling Netcast. Make sure that you're prepared with your zip-top bag, scissors for cutting out the words, a beautiful pencil, a notebook, but we also need some glue, and your notebook with your spelling words. All right, today we're going to practice our spelling. So first thing we got to do is we got to cut out the words. So make sure you get these cut out. Remember, I like to cut across the bottom, cut across the sides. Make sure you get them nice and neat. Best thing for you to do is just to cut these out before you start this video, because I can cut out pretty fast. Now, what I want you to do is that you need to save this top piece, because we're going to glue this up here in just a minute. And then what I like to do is I actually like to cut these and leave these together so that we can write them across the top when we get finished. All right? And then I'll cut up each side, and then put them all together, and that way I can just cut them out 3 at a time. That makes it pretty quick when you're cutting out. All right. All right. So we've got all these words here. I'm going to spread them out and put them over here on the side, because we're going to use those in just a minute. But what I want to do first is, and I'll probably trim this off like that, and then we're going to put a little glue on it, and I want this across the top. That way we know which sort we're doing, so you know which sort you did last week and the ones you're doing this week, and you can probably guess what you're going to do next week, depending on where we are in our spelling. But we're on sort 48. We're going to be doing the prefixes EX, NON, IN, and FORE. So these are all prefixes. These come at the very beginning of a root word, and it changes the meaning of a root word. So let's get to writing these on. So we're going to put right up here, we're going to put EX dash. Make sure you leave a little space up here so that we can write the meanings of these. I'm going to put NON dash, IN dash, FORE dash. Okay? And then you just underline these, and then go ahead and cut out your exemplars so that when you do your sorts the next couple days, you'll have these ready to go. And these you can put right into your zip-top bag, because we won't use them the rest of today. All right? Okay. So let's see what we got here. Now, we've got EX. So let's look and see what we've got for EX. For a, let's try extend. EXTEND. We're going to underline the EX on that because we're learning about the prefixes, so let's underline the EX. Now, the interesting thing about some of these that we're doing right now is when we put some of these words together, like EX, it's actually doesn't have a root word, but it changes the meaning of those sentences. Okay? So if we do extend, even though the EX means something, it doesn't mean that, you know, tend, because tend might mean to babysit or to watch something. Extend doesn't really always mean that. But EX means out. Or, we're going to put a slash right there, which means or, beyond. Okay? That means these actually mean extend. So we're extending it, we're bringing it out. Okay? And it's the same word with X. It. X, it. We say exit. That means to go out. Even though it doesn't really mean, you know, it has a different meaning. It is an object. But when we put EX with it, it actually means to go out. Okay? So those are kind of interesting prefixes this week where we have not really, had that before, where actually the prefix means something and changes the meaning a little bit. Express, E-X-P-R-E-S-S, express means to go beyond. Beyond what? I want you to think about this word, and we're going to talk about that one. All right? So let's get to our next one. Let's go to non. Non actually means not. So let's do our first word, nonsense. So write that one down. Nonsense. Underline non, and it means not sense. So that means there's no sense to it. Okay? It must be nonsense. You guys, your parents ever say that to you? That's nonsense. Okay? And then we have non-fat. Non-fat. Now these ones actually have root words. Fat, not fat. Sense, not sense. Non-fat is what we have this for our milk in school. Non-fat milk. We also have 1%, but we also have non-fat. And they take out the fat in those things. All right? I'm going to let you finish the rest of those. So let's move on to our next one. In. In. And what in is, in has two meanings. It either means not, depending on which word it is, or it means in or into. So let's look at some of these. So we've got incomplete. Incomplete. So if I underline that, does this mean incomplete or into complete, or does it mean not complete? It does. It means not complete. So that is the meaning of that in. All right, so let's look at this one right here. Indoor. Indoor. So if we underline that, does this mean not door or into door? Into door. So that means inside or in the door. It's indoor. So that's kind of interesting on that also. Now there's one word I want you to check out right here. Let me find it. It's in, of course, it's always going to be the last words that I find. There it is, right there. Check this one out. This one's an interesting one. Indent. Because when we indent, we go into, like in a book, we indent inside into the writing to start. And so that's interesting because dent is, you might recognize dent as like in dental or dentist. And so this actually means tooth in Latin. Dent means Latin it means tooth in Latin. So we're actually going into the tooth, so we're actually going into the paragraph, or we're taking a bite out of the paragraph. How crazy is that? Isn't that interesting? All right, and let's do our last word here. We got fore, F-O-R-E. And so fore actually means before or in front of. So when we look at that, we're going to check this out. So let's look at forecast. F-O-R-E-C-A-S-T. Forecast. Okay? So forecast means before the cast. And a cast could be something that is in a direction, I guess you could say. So it's before the direction of the storm, before the direction of this, or whatever's happening, okay? So when we do a forecast, we're actually telling it before something is happening, all right? Now let's do one more. Oh, let's do two more. Oh, the forehead, F-O-R-E-H-E-A-D. Forehead, is that before the head or in front of the head? I think your forehead is in front of your head, right? So we do still have some root words there, and so we got to remember those. Let's look at one more. Let's do this one right here. Forearm, F-O-R-E-A-R-M. Forearm, in front of the arm or before the arm. So we've got the forearm, which is the front part of the arm before it gets to the hand. All right, so what I want you to do is I want you to go through and put on all the rest of these, but while you're doing it, I want you to see how does that word fit in. Does it have a root word? And what does it mean if it has the root word? Now, on some of these, you're not going to have a root word, and I want you to recognize that also. And it could be on here, it could be in here. You know, you think about which ones have root words and which ones do not. So, finish these words. Make sure you get all of them on there. Write them in nice and neat. And get your homework done. All right. See you later.